attack the transfer portal this offseason, adding more players than any other team in the country. But two players will be back. Our quarterback Shedeur Sanders and two-way star Travis Hunter. Sanders had 27 TD passes last season despite a shaky offensive line, while Hunter had 5 TD catches and 3 interceptions. Tonight, the Buffaloes will face FCS powerhouse North Dakota State at 9.5-point home favorites. The Bison enter as the second-ranked team in the FCS coaches poll after winning 11 games last season. Where's my guy? And wait for it. There he is. Hello, Paul. Good morning. How we feeling? How we doing?
Hey, everybody.
Paul.
What's going on, Paul?
Doing great.
Paul, surprise, surprise. We're talking about Colorado, but it's on the field, okay? What do you expect to see from them tonight?
I expect a really powerful performance by Colorado, and it's not because Deion said they're going to do this or that. I just think second year you overcome some things. Now, they look great, as we all know, at the beginning of last year, but I think this is a really great opportunity at home, at night, perfect atmosphere against a good team. But this is not the Bisons of a couple of years ago when they were owning their division. They've fallen off a little bit. So I think for Deion Sanders and Shedeur and Travis Hunter and the entire team, it's just get out there, jump to a lead, put this team away. Don't let this game go down to the final couple of minutes. The flip side of this is there is a lot on the line. I don't think that's really the issue going in, but it could be the issue coming out if they don't perform, if they make a lot of mistakes, and if that Colorado offensive line can't protect Shedeur Sanders like they were unable to last year.
Well, he was sacked 52 times last year, okay? I mean, he was the most sacked quarterback in the nation. I mean, it got so bad for Shedeur Sanders in terms of protection. Football reasons wasn't the only reason that Deion Sanders ultimately sat down his son. He sat down his son because, damn it, at one point he said, that's my son. I mean, I got to look out for this man. I got to protect him. It's my job as a dad, not just as a coach. My Lord, he's getting slaughtered. And so obviously he prioritized trying to protect him this upcoming season with him and Travis Hunter and their future looking so bright as prospective first-round picks. I think in the case of Shedeur Sanders, it's an absolute certainty that he'll probably be a first-round pick in my estimation, assuming he plays anything close to what he did last year. All right, what are you going to do? You had a situation where they went the last 9 weeks of the season. They went 1-8. But I think they had like 5 one-possession games, if I remember correctly. It was something along those lines.
Correct.
So when you look at it from that standpoint, they were competitive in a lot of these games. They got blown out a couple of times, but they were competitive. They were competitive in most of the games right now. But I'm just looking at them, and here's what I'm looking to watch, because when we're talking about a team like North Dakota State, we got to remember in FCS, they're a powerhouse, okay? Currently ranked number 2 in those FCS rankings. We might be making a mistake sleeping on these brothers, thinking that Colorado is just going to run roughshod over them. Because after this game, Colorado's got like 5 games this season against top 25 teams. And so when you're looking at the projections where they're going to finish anywhere from 7th to 11th in the conference, for crying out loud, and you're starting off a game like this, if you end up losing a game to an FCS school, albeit one that's considered a powerhouse, the future doesn't look bright. Your prospects doesn't look bright as this season is ongoing, particularly how last year ended. So I think tonight, I think it's important from a psychological perspective, Paul, just as much as anything else. Deion can do a lot of things. What he can't do is play for the players. He can motivate them. He can prepare them. He can make sure I's are dotted and T's are crossed and that, you know what, you're not going to run into any surprises. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that got to go out on the field and perform. And I think that if they lose a game like tonight, with moving into their new conference, with what they've got going on, with what the projections are, with the scrutiny that's coming down upon the program because of his situation with media members and what have you, and everybody looking for, not everybody, but a lot of people looking for the slightest scintilla of an excuse to come down upon him. What's the best way to get to Deion Sanders? It's going to be through the kids. You can't get to him through him, because he's a self-assured man, as stubborn and as strong-willed as they come. But where his vulnerabilities lie is with those kids he's coaching, especially when a couple of them are literally his kids. And so if you go out and you lose, and there's a tsunami of cynicism and criticism that rains upon you, and it's early in the season, I know he can deal with it. Can they deal with it? That's going to be a question mark. I think tonight's game is very important. They got to win this game. They got to do so convincingly, and I'm assuming they will.
And Stephen A., that is really the issue, because not many people outside of that vicinity really care about anything other than the outcome of this game. And we both know there's a lot of schadenfreude going on out there. There are many pundits who are going to tune in this game, and if Colorado is behind, they are going to fixate and start preparing their tweets and their columns and their shots. And that's the one thing that Deion does not need. And listen, we've had a lot of conversation about him this week, but we both feel the same way. We're rooting for him. But a lot of people are rooting against him tonight. And I think that's important to remember. And if he loses this game, suddenly that's the noise. And the headline tomorrow is Deion spent all week clapping back at the media instead of preparing, even though that's not true, even though he really didn't say very much and it was magnified and aggregated ad nauseum. That will be the narrative. And from 7 o'clock tomorrow morning on the East Coast across the country, that everybody's going to say, Colorado blew it, they lost. And Deion's back to his old tricks of not getting this program in the right position. And the most important thing for this program this year is to get to a bowl game. Without that, there's no way to consider it a success. Yes, I know he wants a playoff. That's to come. But this year it's about getting a winning record in a bowl game, and a loss tonight would make that very difficult.
Paul, let me
They're
ask you
projected
this.
in the media poll. Molly, they're projected in the media poll to finish 11th in the Big 12. To make sure I'm correct on that stat, last year they played 8 one-possession games. They won 3.
Correct.
Paul, what do we need to see from Shedeur Sanders this season for him to be the top quarterback taken off the board?
Well, I think he can do that without this team being great, because, as we all know, we hear it every day, NFL scouts don't follow the scoreboard. They look at the talent. So, I mean, he has to stay healthy. I think that's the most important thing. If he stays healthy, Molly, and if he can get some protection. I think people talking about the Heisman is ridiculous, because you need to be in contention to win the Heisman. You don't need to be in contention to be the #1 pick.
Nope.